Welcome to Mudville, podcast about baseball and cinema. I'm Brody Staub.
I'm Nolan Rabine.
We hope you enjoy. Everybody is shouting at Miles Straw, and it's a bunch of drunk college kids. And if you've never been in the Yankee Stadium bleachers, what you're dealing with is a lot of college kids who don't really they're Yankee fans, but they're not
they weren't born for this shit.
No, they're just like, let's go get rowdy in the bleachers and yell at some millionaires.
Yeah,
so
they just arrived.
Yeah, so they're all in there and they're yelling at Miles Straw, but what they're saying is, "Fuck you, Shaw." Fuck you, Shaw. And I was literally yelling like...
That's not his name.
Me and one other dude, we're shouting, "His name is Straw!"
They were probably yelling down into the Cleveland bullpen at then reliever Brian Shaw.
They definitely were not.
I think that's what was happening.
They
were
say
just
that.
like, dude, you're going to come in the game in the 8th inning and you're going to get rocked.
We just feel it. It definitely was not about the Amish-looking dude who started a fight with the left field bleacher.
Welcome back to Mudville. It has been a brief hiatus.
We had a lot going on.
Brody did get trapped in a storm drain, and it took a week to get him out.
I almost got Pennywised. It was real close.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we had old Jim, our neighbor, bring down his fishing rod, and
old Jim.
Brody just kind of
put a hot dog on the end of it.
Yeah, no, he put a hot dog and you bit into it, and then he pulled you up by your lip.
Yep, exactly.
And your arms were
So the reason I haven't been able to
flailing.
talk is I had to get stitches in my cheek to get that all fixed up. And now here we are. We're good. We're back.
Yeah, well, I guess look out for those storm drains.
Yeah, got to keep an eye out.
Well, baseball is back.
In addition to that, also baseball is back.
I feel like we've said baseball is back 5 different times.
In 5 different episodes.
Yeah.
But it actually is legitimately
It's actually back now.
It's not like a figure of speech anymore. It's
It's
actually on all the time now.
It's actually day 10, and you wake up and it's baseball season, and the novelty of that is starting to wear off a bit. It's becoming
exactly just like
regular.
everyone predicted. The Pirates are in second place. The Astros are in fourth. Baseball is back.
You wake up on those really super early April days and you kind of forget, and then it hits you and you're like, oh, it's back.
Oh, yeah.
The overreactions are starting to get themselves out of the way. We've had some injuries. We'll have more, but we've got quite a bit of baseball to talk about in this week and a half. And I would say that the top story in baseball is the top team in baseball, which is the Tampa Bay Rays. 9-0. They are currently tied with the Red Sox in a scoreless game at the time of recording this podcast.
And they're
it is 0-0 in the 8th, which you look at that. Nobody's done that since before 2000. I think the 2003 Kansas City Royals were the last team to start 8-0. I don't even know who the last team was to start 9-0, because in 2003, I didn't even know what a baseball was.
But 5 years old is too young to be able to be this is crazy.
No, genuinely, I didn't know what a baseball was when they did that. So hey, we have never seen this. We have never seen a team do this in our lifetime.
Now, part of the reason,
I would say quite a bit of the reason.
So the people they've played is a big part of this discussion. But at the same time, people are discounting the people they've played by saying a few things. One, you play who you play. Two, the Tigers beat the Astros twice, I think, to open the season. It was the White Sox, but then they played the Tigers after that, and the Tigers did beat the Astros. I don't know. The Nationals beat the Braves or something, and the A's beat, I don't know, someone. It's
a belabored attempt to make a bad team seem better than a good team.
Yes, and what is so here's the deal. The Rays are beating up on bad teams, as they should.
Mm-hmm.
The bad teams that they're playing, it's baseball. Bad teams win 60 games. It is what it is. No team is that untalented. At the same time, the A's and the Tigers are going to be really bad this year.
And
they're
the
going
Washington
to be terrible.
Nationals.
The Nationals have at least some young, exciting talent from the Soto deal. Whatever.
Sure, but to start off the 2023 season.
Yes.
Yeah. The one thing we'll say, the Rays, they aren't beating these teams by close margins. They have the largest margin of victory of any team throughout their first 9 games, like, ever, I think, or at least back to the days of, like, Hot Dog Thompson.
Okay, then hand him the fucking hunk of metal now. Like, what do you want? I don't know.
Well, no. I'm saying, it's
I get it.
It could be quite easy to look at a team that has beaten the teams that they've played and say, maybe this is a little bit fraudulent.
Right.
However, the ways that they are winning these games, that's not the case.
Right.
Juan DeFranco looks like a world beater. Randy Arozarena is beating the shit out of the ball.
They have 3 starters with an ERA of 1.5 or less, 2 of those being 0.
Yep. The pitching rotation, I think, is their best rotation ever, or at least it certainly will be when it's healthy.
It might be the best rotation ever.
Jeffrey Springs looks like he might be going for the Cy Young, despite, again, the teams that they've played. Drew Rasmussen also is just dominating teams, shutting them down.
Yep. Rasmussen has 15 strikeouts, no walks.
Yep.
13 innings pitched. Yeah. And a 0 ERA.
And that's just self-explanatory. Those statistics speak for themselves. Like there's nothing to break down there. It just is what it is. Those are video game numbers, and until there, you can say small sample size, and I will say small sample size, but
you should say small sample size.
But when
they're not going to hit like this all year.
No,
that's the one thing.
Not.
Like the pitching is probably going to be this good, but they're not going to be able to hit like this.
The offense is playing a little bit over its ceiling right now,
because their bullpen has been pretty lights out.
Their bullpen is pretty lights out. Pete Fairbanks is one of the most disgusting relievers in the game.
That's one.
Fair.
You really think that Jason Adam is going to maintain this for
Jason Adam is quite good. I would say look into some of these guys. They're
32.
The Tampa Bay Rays homophobic bullpen is pretty lights out.
Oh dear God, I forgot about that.
Until it's possible for Jeffrey Springs, Drew Rasmussen, and Shane McClanahan have been arguably the 3 best pitchers in baseball. They're all on one team, so when Tyler Glasnow and Shane Baz come back,
terrifying.
Watch out.
Terrifying.
Oh, and it looks like they just took the lead against Boston in the bottom of the 8th because Brandon Lau had a go-ahead home run.
He'll do that.
If they
Look, the Red Sox
settle that out,
team too.
They will be 10-0.
It's rough.
Well, let's move around the American League East a little bit. The Baltimore Orioles.
They're fun.
They're a lot of fun.
They have not found a way to get out of last place, but they are still fun.
Their pitching is quite bad, like a lot of people knew it was.
Yeah, it's rough.
But the offense looks to be for real. Adley Rutschman looks like an MVP.
He does.
And they are running all over the place. Cedric Mullins and Jorge Mateo.
Watching that team. Like that series that they had against the Yankees. Watching those few games. They are so much fun to watch. Like, I mean, every single person on that team contributes something. Whether, like Santander and Mullins are a really fun outfield, like just the duo of them, and then Hayes is out there doing his thing. But Adley, he might be one of the most just complete young ball players I think I've ever seen at his age.
He will be a perennial MVP candidate for the next 10, 15 years.
Yep, Gunnar Henderson looks just like he's got all the tools possible. It's just everybody in this team looks fun. Adam Frazier looks like an actual pretty good addition too. Like he had some fun little moments.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts.
In the last couple of weeks, he's not having a scorching start, but he came up in a big spot
because he's not a good hitter.
No, exactly. But he did come through in one big spot against the Yankees. That is what I'm basing it off of. So
Jorge Mateo probably overperforming a little bit as well, but
the Yankees lose.
Yes, the Yankees did indeed lose the game. That is a
Franchi Cordero just struck out looking. All right, so we could talk about the Red Sox, who we are going to be observing in a second,
and probably laughing at all year.
I can't wait to laugh at them all year. Yeah. Although they are currently over 500, which
won't last.
Not saying much. Also,
I don't care.
It doesn't really matter. But there are a few guys off to a hot start. Yoshida is not
He looks legit.
He looks legit, but he's not tearing the cover off the ball yet, which
No.
I'm sure he'll adjust. He has the skill. We've seen it. He can hit big league pitching. He did in the WBC. Just probably a matter of time until he starts actually hitting here.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm still a little bit curious about him with is his power. I'm not sure how well that is going to translate into games. I don't think that will be definitively answered for quite a while.
Sure.
But he's certainly quite the contact hitter for sure.
Yeah. Somebody's power you should not be worried about is Rafael Devers. He has 4 homers. He's hitting like 340.
Well, one guy who was off to an unreal start for the Boston Red Sox was Adam Duvall, who then promptly fractured his wrist and will be out for months.
He was slugging with 4 digits, one dot in the slug column, and then he broke his wrist, which you kind of hate to see.
One of the most memorable moments from the first week of the season was that Orioles-Red Sox finish where Ryan McKenna dropped the ball that would have won the game in the bottom of the ninth inning, and then the next batter, Adam Duvall, put one right over the green monster, and the game was over.
Yep.
That was tough for Baltimore Orioles
Not
fans.
what you want. Ooh,
great for
the big man coming around third.
Austin Riley.
Wow,
great for Boston Red Sox fans, but that's probably the only time we're going to say that all year.
Yeah, not going to be a lot of that. Their pitching has not done much of anything to write home about. Chris Sale has an ERA of 11 and a quarter.
Somebody's
kinda
number
like to
that
see
I
that.
wanted to note that it's completely different division, but I just found this fun, was Michael Grove, the Dodgers rookie new pitcher, has an ERA of 14.73.
Oh my goodness.
With a FIP, that's fielding independent pitching, for those of you at home, of 2.44. So that is just the widest discrepancy between those two numbers I think I will ever see.
How is that
Truly, I don't know. I mean, he walked like 4,000 hitters, but
that's unbelievable.
Still, that's an
true
April baseball number. Yeah, I found that one fun. The Toronto Blue Jays, Matt Chapman has been like the best hitter in the American League. His WAR is already at a 1.
Morgan thought he was done.
We're gonna have to call Morgan back and talk about Matt Chapman, I suppose,
and the National League. But first and foremost, Matt Chapman.
We still got to get to that.
Vladdy Jr. is having a pretty good start of the year.
Off to a
2
torrid
homers,
start.
Almost hitting 500.
More walks than strikeouts.
He is really kind of crushing the shit out of the ball. Bo Bichette looks pretty damn good. Blue Jays are hitting. Their pitching is probably going to catch up, but they really have not had a lot of good starts out of anybody.
Chris Bassett is off to a horrible start.
So does Barrios. Barrios is also not doing great.
Well, Bassett, I'm not as worried about. He got super blown up in his first start, but he did bounce back a bit in his second. Jose Barrios, I'm just not sure what there even is to talk about.
Not a lot to expect.
And Kikuchi, I am certain saying that there is just nothing to talk about. He's
Kikuchi
terrible.
is going to do exactly what he's doing for the rest of the year.
He
has
could
2 starts,
go.
9 innings, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a 6.5 ERA. Over time, that will probably just equal out to a 4 ERA, a strikeout an inning, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't think he is quite
average.
a good pitcher. Alek Manoah is a guy I'm kind of worried about. Kevin Gossman, I think, a guy who got very unlucky last year. Kind of seeing that again at a certain point. When is it just like part of your profile to give up a high BABIP?
Right.
We'll see. The Blue Jays pitching is
look, if
not
people put the
super
ball
great,
in play enough, that's how BABIP works. It's a numbers game. Anyway, the Yankees look pretty good. They are winning series, and they are not really blowing anybody out. They are still pretty injured right now. They have a lot. I think 11 guys or something like that on the IL. It's a lot.
most of the bullpen,
most of the rotation, and now some of the infield. Although you don't really miss the guys on the IL from the offensive side as much.
Not quite, yeah.
But it is what it is. They also still. Can we have the Hicks chat real quick?
You do it, yeah.
So here's the deal. Aaron Hicks is owed $30 million. Just fucking eat it. Just eat it. Just do it. Just get him out. He's
got nothing.
He's got nothing, and it's only sad.
And
it's
he's complaining, and the fans don't like him.
It's rough.
And we were at the game, and he got booed just for like a pretty routine strikeout heavily.
What are we doing here? It's
complaining
mean.
About his role.
It's mean.
Nobody's happy.
It is literally mean. I went to a game my girlfriend's birthday. 15 people, most of them not really familiar with Yankees games. Aaron Hicks, I think, was like 0 for 4 that night. I actually made money off of him going 0 for 4.
Smart.
But yeah, exactly. A lot of my girlfriend's friends were very confused as to why Aaron Hicks was getting booed. And they started to feel bad for the guy. And I was like, this is, look, if this is the first time that you're like experiencing this, I get it. At the same time, this has been building for so long between Cashman and the fans, between Aaron Hicks and the fans, just guys that have nothing, that are here, that they just insist on playing and just keep on kicking the can when they know it's empty. And it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I had a conversation myself this week with a friend where he like texted into our chat. He was like, why are Yankees fans booing Aaron Hicks? And I just went, he sucks. He's bad.
Just bad.
That's the whole reason. And he says something along the lines of like, oh, stay classy. And I'm just like,
he's not a bad person.
People die every day.
Yeah.
Aaron Hicks will be fine.
He will be fine. He has
He's
lot of money.
He's making so much money. Tampa Bay won again, by the way. They are now 10-0.
How about that?
Yeah. Crazy.
The bigger story, the Red Sox lost. Anyway.
The Red Sox did lose.
Yeah.
Love it.
Red Sox lose. Anyway, Anthony Volpe. By the way, we should do a little update on the youngsters that we were keeping an eye on for the season.
Sure.
Jordan Walker, Anthony Volpe, guys like that. Volpe, for some reason, people are like now saying it's like, well, don't criticize the kid, but like nobody's really criticizing it. But it's like it's this weird, it's like where everybody is like, can't wait until people are gonna just like make fun of this shit, and then you look at the comments and everyone is just saying like, can't wait to see the comments. It's like, this is weird.
Yeah, it's like it's a sort of phenomenon where Anthony Volpe is playing
a rookie. Like a rookie. Like a 21-year-old rookie.
He's playing badly enough that people notice it and are wanting to
They're preempting
defend
the discussion.
him from people who aren't criticizing him really to begin with.
Right.
So it's
well said.
It's an interesting catch-22 here where it's sort of the worst that this guy
the opposite
plays,
of Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, literally. But it's like the worse Anthony Volpe plays, at least for a while, people are going to get more and more defensive of him.
Yeah.
Like
nobody is mad at him. He's 21.
Yeah, no,
he's playing
I
shortstop
know.
for the Yankees, and like, look, he's doing fine. Like,
he's doing okay.
He has looked.
He's doing bad, but he's doing okay.
He's doing fine for what he has to be doing right now. Like, he is not really hit yet. The defense looks fine. Mm-hmm. So look, he's 10 games into his career. Not everybody is like freaking, Michael Harris or whatever.
Yeah.
I would even like to see what he did in his first 10 games. I'm curious. Because there's a thing where it's like Julio Rodriguez in his first 10 games, like worse numbers than Volpe so far this season. Like, whatever. It's, it is what it is. And most people just need to like shut up and calm down and give him time.
Well, now I see. Now I think you're kind of doing the thing that we were just talking about other people doing.
You're right. Most people just need to ignore everything.
You're
just
arguing against a straw man.
That's true.
What
right, you know what?
I'm curious
No.
about.
You know what? I'm going the other way. Volpe, you're going to get sent down in a week if you don't start hitting. Fuck you.
There you go.
You suck.
Devil's advocate.
There we go.
Here we are.
There we
We're
go.
playing devil's
all right,
advocate.
so now
on the
all you
Mudville
stupid
podcast.
Yankee fans, you can yell at me because I'm the guy. I'm the straw man.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is like
who is it? Yeah.
Well,
me.
at what point do we think people would actually start criticizing Anthony Volpe? And like I don't mean like
2 weeks into May.
I don't mean
exactly
like I was gonna say I don't mean smart people, but I mean like
yes.
At what point are the ones defending Anthony Volpe actually defending him from somebody?
Right.
Who
Where there's
exists.
actually an attack. When is the first real attack?
Yeah.
When is the
exactly.
what was it? Fort Sumter or whatever. What was the Civil War?
The
first attack on.
You're asking me questions I don't know the answers to.
Whatever. This is a very specific.
That sounds right to
going
me.
For. Anyway, point being, there has not really been a full call for the job yet with him, but people are acting like there has been.
Yeah, I don't
That's
even think that there's been a partial call for the job yet. Foul ball. I don't think
revenge game. Nolan Arenado just hit a very long foul ball against the Rockies in Coors.
Revenge game if the people you're taking revenge against just aren't worth it.
That's true, too. My God.
It's kind of like you just sort of feel bad for them.
Yeah, a little bit. Man.
Oh,
rough.
man. All right. Well, on to the AL Central.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Twins are off to a 6-3 start. They're leading the division. Trevor Larnach has been their best hitter on offense. Some people might have written him off a little bit too quickly.
We forgot to mention Franchi Cordero, but he's really fun. Anyway, Minnesota Twins.
And the trio of Sonny Gray, Pablo Lopez, and Tyler Mahle, three guys who people weren't really sure about, have all gotten off to fantastic starts.
Not bad.
Sonny Gray struck out 13 Astros yesterday. Tyler Mahle striking out 30% of hitters, and Pablo Lopez debuting his new sweeper that has completely transformed the way he pitches, and no one has been able to touch him yet. He went
Tyler
into
Mahle
Kansas
has a
City,
0.0
shut down a
barrel
tough lineup. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it's all, when all three of these guys are on the same team, at that point it becomes organizational.
Yeah.
And maybe they really have something.
Do you want to take that word again?
Organizational?
There you go.
Did I get it wrong the first time?
You said organizational.
Did I?
Maybe not.
Oh boy,
Thought I heard that.
That would be tough.
Maybe not.
I didn't write anything about Cleveland. Do you have anything about? Do you want to talk about your 100 game win prediction for Cleveland?
Well,
they just got one tonight.
They did get one tonight. They're 6-4. I still think that this team has the talent when healthy to win 100 games. I've reconsidered just in the fact that I don't know if this team has, the kind of balls to do that.
Sure.
But at the same time, they've had some injuries, but they do look good. I mean, they hit a lot. Like, their lineup looks pretty freaking good. There's not too many holes. They just don't have power, which has been the story with them forever. The pitching looks, solid at worst. They're looking pretty good. Bieber's off to a pretty good start. Nothing that'll blow your socks off, but he's had 2 starts. He's got like a 2 ERA, striking out like 20% of the guys he sees. The bullpen looks good. As we mentioned earlier, they have a very strong back end of the bullpen. Karinchak is striking out literally like 40% of the guys he sees, which as a reliever. Clase looks good. He is barely being touched at all. He is not, his average exit velocity is under 90, as of the entire bullpen, actually, for Cleveland. They're looking good. They're, I trust them to kind of be, as I said, look, I'm not backtracking. All I'm saying is that I don't think they're going to win 100 games anymore. I just think they're going to probably win like 95 or 96. I think last episode, I said 94. So they're a mid-90s team. And I think, again,
you're settling in the middle.
they have the talent to win 100 games still. I'm saying that, but I think they're going to win around 95 games.
Hunter Gaddis has made two starts for them, and he has looked interesting. Aaron Savali was off to Aaron Savali was off to a great start. They did have to put him on the IL, however, so we'll see if he comes back.
Those obliques are weird. I think that's what Bader has, and they're kind of like
all three of those
hard to predict a timeline.
Effective pitching, low strikeout rates. So we'll see if that's sustainable.
Yep.
The Chicago White Sox are 4-6. It's kind of the start that I think a lot of people would have predicted, where it's like they're getting a lot of decent performances, but like the team itself is just kind of underperforming. Luis Robert has been showing the upside that people have raved about for him for years now.
He was the number 1 prospect in baseball, wasn't he?
No, but he was up there. He hasn't drawn a single walk is the only thing.
So weird.
Yeah, he's a weird guy, but he has a 203 WRC plus. Yeah, 4 home runs, almost a full WAR already, doing good things on both sides of the ball.
But he's also striking out 25 or 26% of the time.
Tim Anderson, it looks like they're going to have to put back on the IL.
Is that right? I didn't hear about that.
He got. Well, maybe they think he might have pulled something up a little weird today, so we're going to see about him.
Yep.
Moncada it's not sustainable, this performance so far. Just so many of the White Sox have the same problem, which is that they don't draw any walks at all.
That's such a
like
weird
they swing
issue
at
for the
everything.
team.
It is. I think it's just an individual player thing. But then you have Yasmani
all of them are
Grandal, who
like that.
doesn't swing the bat at all.
Right.
So it's so strange. Like he doesn't fit in on that team.
That
at
being
all.
said, this team is ranked 9th in on base percentage, so they're hitting enough to make up for it.
Yeah.
So that is.
And I think they'll
still not
continue
great.
to.
Sure.
Even
Yeah.
though Eloy Jimenez is back on the IL for
Right.
the 800,000th time at this point.
Dude does not play.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, this is the deal last year. That's the reason why. People had them as World Series picks for the last few years. This team hits the shit out of the ball when they're all healthy, but that's kind of, this
That just
lineup
doesn't happen.
This lineup will bang if they can bang, and then they don't walk, and that's kind of all they do. It's, you're going to have like 3 dudes who hit like 290 or above with like 25 homers.
Dylan Cease put any fears over his poor spring to
Dylan Cease
rest
looks
on
amazing.
opening day. He looked like the best pitcher in baseball
He
right
really
off the
did.
bat. Michael Kopech
Kind of
did
made
not.
me eat my words there, as I said he was the worst of the best pitchers, which
That was nonsense.
he
at the
looks
time.
like the best of the best.
Yeah.
He looks fantastic.
And Michael Kopech does well. He had a decent start the other day against Pittsburgh, but his first start did not go well at all. He gave
No.
up 5 solo home runs against
So,
the San Francisco Giants.
I saw there was a John Boy clip today. He was tipping his pitches, so he had
let him do it.
Yep. So he had his thumb flared out for off speed or breaking balls, and then it was touching his wrist for fastballs, and they banged him for 5 solo homers. It's rough.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Great video, by the way.
watching
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
that's honestly good. If you're
Yeah, he knows
Chicago,
how.
if you're
glad.
Kopech,
I know.
You're very glad that you're
it's his
tipping as opposed
Yeah.
to having a shredded elbow.
Yeah, that or
Which I
a
was
mechanics
afraid of.
issue, which
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the Royals.
Yeah.
Kansas City. You have anything to say about the Royals other than the fact
I have
that
a
they're
few things to say about
3-7?
the Royals. Possible breakout incoming for Chris Bubic, however
he's having a
pronounce that
great start
name.
of the year.
Yeah,
Great start of
the
the year.
slider looks good. Change up. I mean, he's a very non-stuff dominant guy. So if he can find a way to
It's always kind of fun.
deceive hitters and find success,
Yeah.
then good for him. And
Currently
it looks
fifth in
like
the
he
league in
has.
FIP.
Vinny Pasquantino, just one of the most complete hitters in the game. The guy is walking almost as much as he's striking out already. That number could even surpass the latter for all we know. Terrible start to the season for Bobby Witt Jr., but, whatever. Week 1, just kind of tough.
One thing on Dylan Cease I want to mention. I forgot.
Sure.
He currently has the lowest BABIP in the league, so that doesn't really bode well for the future unless he can kind of keep it down.
Well, he
But-
had that last year, too. His BABIP was, super low. A lot of people were saying maybe,
you know what his BABIP is right now?
it's probably 1 something.
It's .105.
Yeah. But, his
absurdly low.
Maybe he's just the anti-Kevin Gossman, where at a certain point, the BABIP just becomes part of his profile. He's got the stuff
contact
to
in the right places.
get
what
out
does
of
that
it.
mean? I guess.
Certainly avoiding or ignoring red flags is
Right.
never a good idea. But,
Right.
I don't know about that one. I'm not
Somehow his
quite sure.
xFIP is lower than his actual FIP right now too. Need to appreciate Dylan Cease more. Anyway,
Yeah, his stuff is crazy. The
yeah.
only other thing I really had to say about the Royals was Aroldis Chapman is hitting 103, which is just
He hit 104.
annoying. 104. God.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Hate hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it because also the Mets are going to trade for him at the deadline, which I don't hate because
And
it's going
then
to be hilarious.
Yeah, and then he's
going
going to fall apart.
Yeah. Like, of course, look, the last few years, we were at the game, was it last year or 2 years ago, where he gave up his first earned run, and it was in, July?
Yes, we
Do you remember
were.
that?
Yeah,
It was
Andrew
really
Vaughn
late.
took him deep.
Yes.
into right center
It was Andrew
field.
Vaughn.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the first time we ever saw Andrew Vaughn in
Yep.
Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
and he beat Chapman like
Cranked
that.
the home.
Yeah,
And that was late in the year. Not late, but it was like
That was May or June.
It was a hefty chunk of season had already gone by the time it was like, oh, Chapman finally just gave up his first earned run.
Yeah.
He starts out hot every year because he had, months of off time for his arm.
Mm-hmm.
He can throw hard. And then it just kind of goes away quick because he's old and he's done it for too long. He's just not going to be able to keep this up. But somebody is going to trade for him at the deadline.
somebody will. Yeah, and I would imagine it will be the National League.
Yep.
On to the Central.
Maybe we'll see him in the World Series.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's just take a moment here.
Dude.
The Los Angeles Angels.
Hold on. What are you doing? Everybody else has forgotten about them, but we cannot. We're better.
Okay,
than that.
I keep skipping the last team, but
The
okay.
Detroit Tigers exist. I know you don't want to admit it, but they do.
The only thing that I have to say about the Detroit Tigers is that we're 10 games into the season, and they don't have a player on either side of the ball who has accumulated even .2 WAR
So
to this point. Not one.
They have like 4 home runs as a team currently. And a fun fact about the roster, they are striking out 40% of the time.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about them. They're going to do this all year. It is not fun to talk about. They're not even fun they're not even bad in a fun way.
Actually, that's kind of not true because the WRC plus as a team is 21. It's also fifth from worst. The worst in the league belongs to the Pittsburgh Pirates at -9, which is unbelievably bad.
Winning games. So
I know, but
wow.
they just don't hit.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. Well, I don't.
Anyway.
I'm not talking about Detroit. They make me mad.
There's not a lot to talk about. Other
The
than the
Angels
fact that they're
are
terrible.
winning the West. They just played they just played so far game of the year, losing 12-11 to the Toronto Blue Jays last night. I was watching
busy.
that one. That was
missed
a
it.
ton of
Fill
fun.
me in on that. What happened?
It was Ohtani homered, of course. Renfroe got a 2 RBI double. Logan O'Hoppe had a home run. Trout had a home run. They were winning by like a ton. It was like 6-0, and then Toronto came all the way back. Matt Chapman hit a grand slam.
Fun.
And then they were up, and then Toronto was up on LA like 10-6, and then the Angels came back again and forced extras, and then a bunch of yada yada in Toronto. Yeah, it was fun.
Man,
it was a lot of fun.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Man.
Opening day, honestly, around that, like the first week of the season, I was thinking that Tungsten Armo Doyle tweet was honestly going to cause the Angels to like fold as a franchise, or just, if not that far, like genuinely,
they are going to have to reevaluate their entire philosophy.
Like it'll genuinely
organizationally.
impact the course of the Angels as a franchise.
I still don't think that's not true.
No, I still think it is true, but looking at some of these guys, I'm kind of like, all right,
amazing.
they've got some players,
Yeah, how they say like
Gio
humor is
Urshela's
the way
looking
to.
good.
Gio Urshela looks great. I've always loved Gio. I've had a soft spot for Gio.
Oh, I know.
But the how they say that like the best way to take down a dictator is with like satire and humor and stuff, like make them look silly because they can't.
It's not
take
true, but I know that they say it.
Well, yeah, no, but it's like a thing. It was like I remember like early on in the Trump era, they were like, humor is the way to do this. But with the
and
Angels,
they were all like, you tweeted Kofifi.
well, yeah, okay. We don't need to just. It's fine. We've all moved on.
We can get into it at some point,
At
but
some
now's
point,
not the
but
time.
that's just like okay. Like it's still too cringy to even remember right now. Like the whole fucking
dark time for comedy.
Do you drink your Kofifi with your tiny hands, Mr. Drumpf? Like Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Logan O'Hoppe's good.
Logan O'Hoppe's good.
I love that guy.
But the point that I was gonna make is that if you want change, you need a really good searing joke that just people will never let go of. So maybe the Angels will actually do some reconsidering on how they go about their roster construction in the offseason.
Speaking of
Go
jokes,
get a bat.
the Oakland Athletic, I don't have anything to say. I just wanted to make that segue.
They are a joke.
awful.
Yeah,
they're awful.
They're really bad.
They might be worse than the Tigers.
They are worse than the Tigers by WRC plus. Fun fact.
I was going to use my .2 WAR barometer thing that I just used for the Tigers against the A's, but the A's have exactly one player who has reached that number, and it's Kyle Muller. Kyle Muller, their opening day starter.
As a team, the A's are at -0.4.
Yeah, they're
tied with the Dodgers.
Their leading
Wait, what?
hitter right now on offense is somebody named Ryan Noda. Athletics, I only mentioned this early because Brody said something about a joke, and that made me think of them.
Yes.
But, the
A's are
Angels,
rough
they
right now.
actually have some dudes on offense. The Athletics fucking suck. The Astros...
I was right to
would be a little
apologize to the
better.
Angels lineup. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, I think you were.
They're actually hitting. Oh, Anthony Rendon is a fucking psycho. How about that? That was fun. That was a fun little
Anthony
opening
Rendon
day thing. How
tried
about
to
that?
fight a fan on opening
He did.
day.
He literally grabbed his shirt. I know everyone has seen this by now, but it bears repeating. He grabbed a fan's shirt and swung at him. Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I love it.
I've heard.
Man,
lots
also
of
he
things.
missed. Man, even
He
off
did
the field, he
miss.
can't hit
Yeah.
anything. Ah, man, thanks. Anyway,
Anthony Rendon. You just hear quite a few things that he's just kind of a dick.
It's really funny.
That video.
None
was
of his
just
teammates
all right,
even
that
helped him. They all just walked on by.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back when the Nationals won the series in 2019. Rendon made it a point to say something like he couldn't visit the Trump White House, but he made a point of being I really wanted to go because the family is from Texas, so it's
oh my god, just take the fucking
don't say anything at that point.
Just don't say anything.
Yeah, I mean, before the season, I was thinking that two guys to look at in the MVP race because of the shift change rules were Kyle Tucker and Matt Olson, and I think that has that is aging like wine so far. Yeah. That take Kyle Tucker and Matt Olson.
Shift doesn't matter if you hit the ball out of the park.
No.
Nolan.
It's true, but they both look like they have ascended to a completely new level of hitting, and this is from two guys who are already two of the best hitters in the league.
Terrifying.
Sky is the limit for both of these dudes.
Yordan Alvarez, 400 on base percentage right now.
Yeah.
It's 380, but you get the point.
Yordan Alvarez is continuing to be the best hitter in baseball.
Terrifying.
Alex Bregman was off to a bad start, but he's back because he's Alex Bregman.
Not terrifying.
Hunter Brown, I think, is starting to come into it. The fastball was getting destroyed, but
he had a rough start. But he's, I think, I'm pretty sure his second start was way
walking
better
a few
first.
too many hitters right now. So I'd kind of like to see where that goes. I'd like to see more sliders out of him. Just that pitch is so good.
He's not
rely on it.
Yeah, his advanced stuff is not screaming that he's going to get lit up. It's pretty in line with the rest of the rotation. It's not like he's kind of gotten he's not getting lit up. 3.6% barrel percentage, 32% hard hit. It's not. It's actually better than Framber's hard hit percentage, but whatever. It's not it's not great, but he's also 24 and a rookie, so it is what it is. Right now they're in fourth place. They're 4-6. Which is kind of fun.
Speaking of 4-6, so are the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah. The AL West is kind of strange right now. I feel like it's going to be completely rejiggered within about a week and a half. But as of the way that it stands right now, the Mariners and the Astros are in third and fourth. Not respectively, actually, the Mariners are in third. The Astros are currently in fourth. But it is, it's close.
My Cy Young pick, Luis Castillo, is off to an amazing start, and
I think Garrett Cole might be my now prediction on the Cy Young, but Castillo's safe.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Castillo for that one. Logan Gilbert pitched okay, he's just Logan Gilbert. He's another guy with a high BABIP. He leaves too much over the middle. He leaves too many pitches right down the dick. He is striking out quite a bit of guys so far. Hopefully he'll be able to keep that up. George Kirby's not missing as many bats as I would like him to. He isn't walking anybody because he's George Kirby and he doesn't do that.
Right.
But he's not striking anybody out either. He's only got a 19% strikeout rate, and that's not making me happy.
No, not what you want.
High BABIP there. That is one I do think is going to regress, but also I'm not as certain that George Kirby makes the leap to an ace I was about 2 weeks ago.
Logan Gilbert is throwing 66% fastballs.
Yeah, and his fastball isn't even that good.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't.
He has a slider to play off of it, but that's still not.
Yeah, I'm not as in on Logan Gilbert as a lot of other people.
Yeah. I mean, he splits it between a regular four-seamer and a cut, but that's not ideal.
Robbie
you
Ray.
need like 2 other pitches to play off of that if you're going to throw that many fastballs. That's really not.
Yeah.
Fun. But yeah.
Robbie Ray is another pitcher that we have seen on the IL already. I'm kind of completely out on him at this point. Yeah, totally good on that. We talked about the A's already. We got that out of the way. That's nice.
To be fair, Robbie Ray did have the hamate thing, which we saw with Andrew Benintendi last year, if you remember.
Sure.
It's that tiny little bone in your hand, which I think it's probably it's a hitter's injury, but I don't know how you get that as a pitcher. But it took Benintendi. They said Benintendi they thought was going to be able to make it back for the playoffs at the time, and he broke it probably in, I want to say, the end of August, maybe early September.
Sure.
So it's not going to take him out for the year, but still not great.
Yeah, and
not a muscle thing is basically the point I'm trying to make.
Sure.
But yes.
I don't have a whole lot to say about the Texas Rangers start because they're kind of doing exactly what I thought they would, which is
so weird.
Which is win half of their games and hit
Not
the ball kind of well.
Yeah.
Semien is off to a slow start because he's Marcus Semien and it's April.
Yep.
Corey Seager's doing
he doesn't
okay
give a
so
shit
far.
about anything until June.
Yeah, no,
There's
not at
no
all.
way.
Pitching for them, DeGrom is DeGrom. He's got a 46% strikeout rate. He's doing exactly.
He's giving up runs though.
Yeah, he's given up runs. He's gotten very unlucky.
Yeah.
Nathan Eovaldi looks good. Martin Perez, I don't know, all of these guys are just doing what you would expect them to do.
There's nothing interesting. There's nothing out of the ordinary.
And I didn't expect to know anything about this team yet.
My favorite thing is Andrew Heaney with a 26.5 ERA, which again, ERA doesn't really matter, but this early on, it's fun.
That tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does matter. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but
jury's still out on Texas for me. I'm going to be interested in seeing where they are in a week. Speaking of Texas, Jonah Heim just hit a home run on the screen.
Off of Zach Greinke.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird pitching stuff.
So the American League West super close right now, except for the Athletics, as everybody sort of predicted.
Did you know that Ian Kennedy is in the Rangers bullpen? I was at his first game, which is why I find that interesting. But anyway, I was at his major league debut, and now he's 38.
The Atlanta Braves in the NL East. They were my
National League.
I'm going to start that sentence over again.
Sure.
The Atlanta Braves, my National League World Series pick, I think still is. That was shitty. That didn't sound good.
Are you you're changing your pick? Also, my Cy Young, I think, was McClanahan. Going back, I'm not actually changing my pick. But anyway, yes. So the Braves look good.
Yep. The Atlanta Braves, I think, are still my World Series pick. They are 6-4 right now. As I mentioned, Matt Olson tearing the cover off the ball. Ronald Acuna looking like one of the best players in baseball, as he should.
Things.
Austin Riley, generational third baseman. Sean Murphy's fitting in. Ozzie Albies has possibly been called overrated so many times that he's swung around to being underrated. I don't think that's true yet, but it might be in a week.
That's the Garrett Cole thing.
Yeah, sorta. I mean,
it was, by the end of the offseason, it was nobody remembered that Garrett Cole's really freaking good. It's Albies is kind of the same way.
Well, Albies, he got hurt last year.
People,
and, he wasn't on the
forget
field, his production. I
mean,
but Garrett Cole has always produced when he's on the field.
I mean, yeah, but then he has certain stats that I guess not the same thing, because the reason people think Cole isn't good is because he gives up too many homers, whereas Albies just hasn't played.
Yeah.
But whatever. The point being with the Braves is that they are hitting very well and they are pitching very well. So that's kind of, a formula for success, and especially in an NL East where not every team is doing great. So it's, they're doing good.
Yeah, Dylan Dodd got roughed up a bit last night, but he did look pretty good in his first start. That could be a solid back end of the rotation guy for them. Spencer Strider looks disgusting, striking out batters
in 11 innings.
Yeah, Max Fried got hurt the first game of the season.
Not good.
He's still not back, but April injury for a playoff contender. It is certainly something
called
that
it
you
a
can weather.
hamstring, so he'll be back.
The Mets
no.
off to a tough start. They got swept by the Pirates. They're sitting at 500 right now. And for me, the biggest story about the Mets is old pitchers are looking old.
Yeah, shocker.
Justin Verlander has not
On
pitched.
the
Starts
injured
the season
list.
on the IL.
Yep.
Scherzer's looking kind of old, although he did shut down San Diego tonight. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, but he's still. I think what his he's like lost a tick on his fastball. I think he's like throwing in like the low 90s now. He's like not really, the Scherzer of old. But he could also just be saving it because he cooked his arm the last like 3 years.
Well, yeah, he cooks his arm every postseason and
Yeah.
then like kind of like ramps back up. And Carlos Carrasco is just ass. He's
Yeah.
done. He's got nothing. His pitches are
They call him Cookie
flat
for a
and
reason.
getting crushed, and
that reason.
I'm kind of out on him.
Yeah.
Completely.
The other day I had
Senga
a very
looks fun.
the other day I had a cabbie. Oh, yesterday actually. He was like an old Jewish man with a Mets hat. And when I saw like the cab pulling up, I was like hailing it, and I was like, yes. Like, that we just were talking about baseball the whole time. And he was like, yeah, Scherzer's not looking too good these days. I was like, no, sir, no, he's not. He's like 40 years old, and you could tell.
Well,
But anyway, yes.
neither is Eduardo Escobar over at third.
Yeah.
Hitting 125, and his WRC plus is a 7.
Yep. After that whole big brouhaha about bringing Nimmo back, too, he's hitting under 200, which is.
But he's
brought
also
him back
leading the
to
league in walks.
I mean, yeah, he's got a 421 on base. Actually, good
Yeah.
point. But he's still not hitting, and that's kind of why they wanted him back, because he is, can hit 300, and he's not yet. So that hasn't been there. His eye is still the same. So
Yep.
he hasn't hit yet. But he probably will.
Senga's ghost fork, it looks pretty disgusting, but
amazing.
his walk
Yeah.
rate is far too high at 13%.
Although the pitching ninja stuff I've seen on him is like ridiculous.
No,
But
he's got it for sure.
Yep. Kinda fun.
But yeah, it's a 5-5 start for the Mets. Not quite setting the world on fire like their
David Robertson
fans
looks good out of
always.
the pen. Nothing to worry about there with Diaz gone.
Sure.
Give David Robertson the horns.
One team that has not gotten off to a great start is the Philadelphia Phillies.
Ooh, no. Tell me about him, Nolan.
Their all-stars are not producing
Not
at
at
all. Trey Turner has a sub 100 WRC plus. He
Schwarber's
has
been
not
heating up a
gone
little,
deep.
but yeah.
He isn't walking. He's striking out too much. He's just not putting on like that. Nick
He's got
Castellanos.
He's got a 340 on base right now.
Yeah, I mean Trey Turner is like.
Him being bad is a 340 on base.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Trey
but,
Turner,
yes.
we're seeing his bad numbers right now, but
Yes.
also that's the kind of situation where a guy with a fresh, hot new contract, he comes into a tough sports town like Philly.
Right.
He doesn't produce. People are going to be coming for his neck pretty soon.
Yeah. Not really what you want.
Nick Castellanos had a bad 2022. Does not look like he's going to really come back in 2023, striking out nearly half the time already. I mean, unless like somebody dies every time he comes up to the plate.
I was going to say, he feels like a guy who would thrive in a small market, and just when there's any pressure, I feel like he doesn't have it.
Cincinnati, I think, was a great fit for him in that ballpark with low stakes. He's a hitter's hitter, but now he's kind of not.
Not much other than that.
Yeah, right now 3 of their top 4 hitters are Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, and Edmundo Sosa, and the other is Alec Boehm, who I do like.
Alec Boehm looks pretty good this
Yeah.
year. I like that dude can really hit.
Yeah.
When he's on, he's locked in. It's
But-
fun to watch.
Reese Hoskins out for the year. Schwarber won't be back for a while. Derek Hall is already back hurt. Christian Pache can't hit the ball. And Kyle Schwarber is off to a bad start. And they're 3-6.
Starting to hit a little bit, I think, in the
Yeah.
last week. But other than that, not really.
And they got swept in their first series of the season by the Texas Rangers.
Yes, they did.
So
they lost the first game to the Yankees. And then Jake Cave is getting everyday run for this team. So that should tell you just about enough about how they're doing.
Although Jake Cave actually homered tonight off Sandy Alcantara, and he got tanked by the Phillies. They won tonight and handily. They beat the crap out of Sandy Alcantara.
Wow.
And so
Serves me right for not checking the box score. That's crazy.
they
I didn't
did.
know
Yeah,
that.
they got him real good. Also, Jose Alvarado looks like the best reliever in baseball. His FIP right now is -2.1, which I didn't know was
Unbelievable.
like fathomable. Zach Wheeler's
4
getting
innings
unlucky
pitched,
to start
1
the
hit,
year.
11 strikeouts.
Aaron Nola's also getting unlucky to start the year. I think this team will be fine. Like they're not one that I'm worried about. Andrew Painter played catch for the first time since
Man, you have a lot to say about the Phillies. They're a surprisingly interesting team, and I know it's like they're coming off the World Series, so surprisingly isn't really fair. But like, I don't know. Nobody thought they were going to do anything after coming off a World Series, so
but like that was kind of strange. I felt like they should have gotten a little bit more love, but so far they haven't really earned it. So
yeah, they started 0-4, so we move on to
the only thing
Miami
I have
Marlins.
to say about the Miami Marlins is that Jesus Luzardo looks like he is finally attaining that ace potential that people thought he had in Oakland before all that struggling happened, as it does in Oakland.
And he's been bouncing around a lot, hasn't he?
No, he only got traded once, but the trade for him was pretty handily won by the Marlins, as are most trades which involve the Oakland Athletics.
That's fair.
Luzardo,
Not unless they're trading with the Yankees.
12 innings to start the year in 2 starts. He's got a 31% strikeout. He's walking a few too many guys, but he's got a .7 ERA with a 2.2 FIP, and the stuff is nasty. It's at top. He's at his peak. He's hitting 100 sliders, looking disgusting. I mean, it seems like a full-fledged breakout candidate, and one that is in an organization that knows how to develop pitchers quite well. They're going to do it with Yuri Perez this year. Again, they're hoping, but we're seeing what so many scouts lusted over in Jesus Luzardo for years, and it might be
paying off.
It might be a bright spot in a pretty boring season
for
the Miami Marlins.
They could use that.
And another one of those teams that you just don't want to talk about at all is the Washington Nationals. But like, should we say anything? I mean,
CJ Abrams is literally the only thing I care about on this team right now, and he's not really doing much, so no.
And I'm not even much of a CJ Abrams fan. I think he's overrated.
That's fair.
And Stone Garrett's looking all right, but like, who cares? Kind of like that's not a guy that would be getting opportunities on any other roster.
Yep.
Cabert Ruiz, who signed the extension, like he's
Mackenzie
not
Gore looks
hitting.
The corpse of Patrick Corbin is still out there throwing every 5 days.
The corpse of Patrick Corbin might get 20 losses this year. Like genuinely might lose 20 games.
It's so bad.
Patrick Corbin has nothing. He had nothing last year. He has even less this year.
It's rough.
He will go out every game and just get shelled. God. The Milwaukee Brewers are kind of shutting us up at 7-2 right now. We all predicted them to like die.
Yes,
they've got a few young hitters that have been off to great starts. Joey Weimer got the call one of the first couple days. He's been their hottest hitter. Garrett Mitchell had a walk-off home run, and he's been crushing the ball. Bryce Terang has been hitting the ball really well, a guy that is definitely more defensive, but he hit a grand slam on one of his first games.
They have power coming from weird places. Garrett Mitchell and Brian Anderson leading the team in homers. Willie Adames with a pair. So it's just, when they're getting production out of different places in the lineup, that's when they're going to be dangerous. Because Christian Yelich is still really not doing much.
It's probably power that I don't really envision lasting for too long. Corbin Burns has been bad despite this team's great start.
Brian Anderson
He's
has
had
a
two really
210.
shitty starts.
Sorry.
Freddie Peralta's looked good. Brandon Woodruff has looked good, but Burns really just not out of the gate. His velo is down a little bit. He's getting hit hard. I mean, it's kind of worrisome.
Yeah. I was going to say Brian Anderson has a 210 WRC plus. To your point of it not lasting, that is not sustainable for a guy like that.
Yeah. No.
But anyway, unless he wants to shut us up even more. So
which I would love to see it.
Sure, why not?
Brian Anderson, if you're listening,
keep it up.
Keep it up, man.
But yeah, Corbin Burns.
Dude.
Corbin Burns is coming off like the old. Like Dylan Betances always said that his arbitration hearing is like the worst day of his life or whatever, because it's we know that Corbin Burns is upset with the Brewers after his. So yeah, I think he kind of is at the point where it looks like he's expecting to be traded, or at least it feels like that, because he is not apparently giving his all. He's striking out 13% of batters, whereas he is capable of about double that. So it is.
Moving on from there, man. If you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan,
Enjoy this time.
6-3 start. This is like
the dream.
This is just heaven for them.
That's great, man.
Like,
it's fantastic.
And things haven't been this good in over a decade.
Yeah, it's really rough, man. Brian Reynolds is literally just like begging to escape,
Begging to be traded.
It's amazing watching what he's doing.
He's just crushing the ball in an attempt to get out of Pittsburgh.
I feel so bad for him.
Andrew McCutchen is off to a really good start, which is nice to see. Like, it's just kind of a comeback. Like, this could be the Albert Pujols story of
He's not that old. He's 36. He's not like
but
he's not
like
done yet. But
Andrew McCutchen. The reason I compare it to Albert Pujols is because they're two super like veteran players coming back to their
former
old team
superstars, yes,
without really any expectations. And obviously what Albert Pujols did was like a generational story that I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of my life.
Right.
But when Andrew McCutchen signed in Pittsburgh, like it was an afterthought.
Yeah.
Afterthought for me. And,
did you see the video of his first at bat back in Pittsburgh?
I did. That was really nice.
Chills.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's walking more than 20% of the time to start the year. He's
hitting
striking out 12% of the time. Now. Yeah, I mean he's looking great. Like if maybe he's just a Pittsburgh Pirate at heart. Like if he comes back, he has a great season. That would be awesome. I would really love to see that.
Look, 36 is not like we've seen good age 36 seasons before. Like that's he could still have a good year. Like and be like serviceable. But speaking of having a good year and being serviceable, you need good ankles for that. And O'Neal Cruz does not have two anymore.
Not anymore.
He has one, not two.
That's just kind of like the worst thing to see for that. Like, that's awful. Like the only fun player on their team.
Literally, the moment things actually like they have a winning record, they're kind of like their pitching is not great, but fine. And
the moment things are even ostensibly fun.
The Pittsburgh Pirate baseball gods, whoever they pissed off, had to yank it right back. And O'Neal Cruz is out for 4 months. Well, not what you want to see.
The Pirates are just like a perfect example of what happens when a shitty owner is taken at face value because, like, Pittsburgh is not a tiny market. Like, there's no reason that a Pittsburgh sports team has to be this bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, the other teams, like, those have legitimate fan bases. They've won championships. They've had all-stars.
It's a great
While the Pirates have just been dog shit. And they have a really nice stadium, too. Like, PNC Park.
Beautiful stadium.
I've never been there, but I want to go.
I went when I was young. It's amazing.
Very nice.
It is amazing.
Yeah. So I would like to see things look up a little bit in Pittsburgh, but I don't know. They're going to be bad again this year. They're going to draft Dylan Cruz first overall. They'll probably be in the hunt for whoever goes first. Yeah, it's going to be interesting with two different spellings.
Yeah.
I mean, not much else to say about the Pirates.
Other than Brian
Grandpa
Reynolds,
Rich Hill is getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, he is. But you did call O'Neal Cruz the only interesting player on that team, which is not true because Brian Reynolds is literally just on like a fuck you, pay me tear, which is amazing to see.
Well, he's the only
5 homers.
He's the only interesting player who will remain
there.
with the team.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yes.
Moving on to St. Louis.
Let's go to St. Louis then.
Yeah.
All right. Currently in last in this division, which nobody would have seen.
Which will not be lasting.
Also that, yes. Jordan Walker is currently hitting the shit out of the baseball for his 9th game ever, at least.
As he does.
Yes, he does do that. As we said, I think the only thing we said when we first talked about him is he can hit the shit out of the baseball. He's doing that.
Yeah. He puts up the EVs.
He does. He's almost 1-dotting in his OPS. He has 2 homers right now, 400 on base.
Walk rate super low at
He's crushing
2.7. I would like to see that go up a little bit.
Yeah, not many. He only has 1 walk. But also, again, on base at 400.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter. He's making up for it. But still need to get his eye a little bit more attuned.
Paul Goldschmidt, maybe a back-to-back MVP seasons in his mid-30s. Like, it's crazy what Paul Goldschmidt has done since he's...
Unless Arenado takes it from him. I mean, yeah.
Well, Nolan Gorman, 24% walk rate. He's equal number of walks and strikeouts so far. He has hit 2 home runs. Power numbers looking real. Like, he was the next great slugger for St. Louis at one point.
Right.
And I think we're starting to see why.
Yep.
Also, let me
He's
just
also
add,
young. He's 23.
the Cardinals have 2 guys named Nolan on their roster.
They do.
If they get, you know
They
what?
do.
I'm going to say this right now. If they acquire Nolan Jones from the Rockies,
You
I
have
will
to be a
convert.
Cardinals fan.
then I will convert because
I mean,
that will
you
be
have
3
to.
Nolans.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, I was a Chiefs fan when I was little because they had a bad quarterback named Brody Croyle. So, like, if they have 3 Nolans and they're good,
Yeah,
you don't have a choice.
I think those are like all of the Nolans in baseball too. Like
think it
I
is.
don't know
They're
of any other.
collecting Nolans.
They
Yeah.
have 2 of them. If you get the third,
Yep.
you have the Infinity Stone, and you get me.
There you go.
We'll say that.
Man, back when my dad and I used to always talk about, and my brother, but we used to talk about how the Yankees used to lead the league in like Felixes because they had who is it? It was Felix Heredia and Felix. I think who else did they have? They had a bunch of Felixes though.
Yeah, I don't have no memory of any Felix.
But Felix, I think Felix Rodriguez. They had a ton of Felixes. The Cardinals lead the league in Nolans. That's fun.
Chicago Cubs are off to a pretty solid start. Dansby Swanson and Ian Happ are
Yeah, look good.
looking very patient at the plate. Ian Happ
Yes,
is
sir.
walking
Ian
like
Happ is
26% of the time.
Everything. Yeah.
Stroman
Future
and
Yankee.
Justin Steele are both off to torrid starts on the mound. Both looking like guys who could have career years. Steele would be more of a breakout,
Yeah.
and Stroman would kind of be back to form. But if he could,
Well,
he
he's
could
never been
perfect
that good.
Yeah,
Like,
but like
I mean-
he's had that reputation as being a guy who is capable of domination.
Sure,
he
that's
hasn't
fair.
achieved it for a while. So maybe if he can tap into something here in Chicago.
Yeah. He looks
and
good.
Yeah, Justin Steele seems exciting as well.
A couple former Yankees on this team with Wesneski and Tyone. Neither of them doing too hot so far.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The Reds, I don't have much to say about.
New
other-
Cub, by the way. A couple new Cubs with Bellinger, Mancini, and Hosmer. None of them doing much. So they're
that
they're
doesn't
little
surprise me.
their additions in the offseason are not really.
Patrick Wisdom is looking
working
good
out
though. He's off to a
too
good
well.
start to the year.
Patrick Wisdom is fun. He's
3
got a
home
lot of
runs.
pop.
Yeah.
I think he hit homer when I saw them play last year. Which, by the way, have you ever been to Wrigley?
No.
Oh
I
my
need
God,
to.
you need to go.
I've never
It's
even been
amazing.
to Chicago.
Chicago's a great city.
Yeah.
It's fun. But we went last summer. My girlfriend and I, we saw a game, and it was, holy crap, it was beautiful. I mean, you just like, you walk in and it just feels like a different world. It like, you can tell it's like, oh, right, like 1910s baseball actually happened here. Like, it feels like it. It looks like it hasn't changed. It's amazing. Like, you walk in, you see the ivy on the walls, like you see a green wall out there, and it's just like, oh my God, it's different. It's really
need to
cool.
go.
It's so cool.
I don't have much to
That's
say about
my
the
ad for
Cincinnati
Wrigley.
Reds. They're
I don't know anything about them this season.
yeah. I mean, the only thing that I would really have to say is that Nick Lodolo looks like a breakout Cy Young
Yeah, he's
candidate.
having a great
Like he's going to be an ace.
Yep.
Hopefully, I mean, he has to pitch at a pretty shitty pitcher's park,
Yeah.
but
Jonathan
he's
India's doing
dominating
all right.
so far. Hunter Green's stuff looks really good. He hasn't really gotten the results yet, but he's definitely still somebody that I'm picking to break out this year.
team's rotation is second in K through 9 right now.
And also
which
a
is
guy that
surprising.
I think I severely underrated is Graham Ashcraft.
Yeah.
Because that slider, oh my God, he has
Wow.
like multiple pitches in that range. And this is a guy that I did not really take seriously at all.
Right.
So 3 potential breakout candidates in the Cincinnati Reds rotation this
Yeah.
year, which is weird to even say.
Right.
But
Ashcraft has only had one start, but he got through 7 innings with 6 strikeouts, only
Yeah.
4 hits.
hopefully, yeah, I
Good
mean,
stuff.
good for him. We'll keep rooting for him. Hopefully
Yeah.
he can keep that up.
We would like to see that continue.
And then our last division, the NL West.
The NL West. Let's tap into that.
Right now, like, I think the Padres are my clear pick for that division.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
Yep, because
they have a lot of talent.
there's this sort of a new look Dodgers team that we'll get into in a second, but the guys in San Diego, Xander Bogaerts fitting in beautifully. He's already homered 3 times, walked more than he's struck out. He's looking like
he
a
is perfect,
new hitter.
Perfect for that lineup.
Yep.
I mean, that's like exactly what you need if you're the Padres and you need, a shortstop, which, I like, it's just, you got to love the fit. It works.
Yeah.
That lineup is great.
Trent Grisham looks like a breakout guy. Ha-Seong Kim might have something legit finally. Nelson Cruz, if you can get anything out of that old man, take it and run.
Him and Matt Carpenter there. That's
both
exactly the
of
same
those
argument with
guys.
both of them. You can get anything out of them, you'd like it.
Yep.
That's although Matt Carpenter actually looks really good.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And Cronenworth signed his contract. Manny Machado, of course, and they haven't.
Machado has gotten tossed like 4 times.
They haven't even gotten
amazing.
Fernando Tatis back. Like
this team is gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, and
they're really
already
fun.
some of these pitchers that they've added, Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo, are off to fantastic starts. Like if they can get anything out of those guys, I mean they'll be quite happy with it, and it looks like they're going to.
Soto hates the West Coast.
Yeah, maybe.
I really think he just doesn't like it out there. I think he just wants to be an East Coast guy.
Maybe he does.
He has not hit at all since he got there.
No, he hasn't.
I mean, it's amazing because he's capable of so much better than what he's done since he's got there.
Yeah,
and
maybe there's something to that. Maybe he just doesn't like it out there.
The time change, he just still has jet lag.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting for him. Matt Carpenter getting every single day at bats. To me, what is your thought on that? Because
I think that's kind of nonsense.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
no,
crazy.
I mean.
Same with Rougned Odor, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, these are not guys that I would give every day at bats to, and it's because I watched them get every day at bats quite recently.
Yep.
Obviously, Carpenter had that month where he just hit home runs every time he came up to the plate.
He had the best 100 at bats in the history of baseball.
Yeah,
that's not like an overstatement.
No, it's not. Like he literally did, and I really don't understand it. It's kind of the statistical anomaly to end all statistical anomalies.
It really is.
I mean, he's certainly a guy who can hit right-handed pitching. Like put him in off the bench, like whatever.
He has a 400 on base percentage right now. He's getting on. Like that's kind of what you need from him. I mean, you'd like him to hit, but he's
platooning him
getting on.
with Nelson Cruz is like a little too obvious.
It's kind of fun though.
Yeah, like it's nice. I'm into it. Do we think the Diamondbacks are real?
Yes.
I don't, but I think that they will be real.
They're
eventually.
not this real.
Yeah,
but they are real. Yes, they are.
There's something there.
I think they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year, but they are clearly. They have a ton of talent, and next year I think this division is going to be insane. This division is going to be an arms race. It's
Except for
fun.
the Giants and the Rockies. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what, you want all 5 to compete? What is this, the AL East?
Kind of.
Come on. it's
Diamondbacks, I would say, certainly won't make the playoffs this year, but they've got Geraldo Perdomo.
They have a lot of talent. It's really fun.
22 at bats. He's got a 254 WRC plus. Evan Longoria is off to a great start.
Moreno is fun. I like Moreno.
Yeah, no, I love Gab Moreno. Corbin Carroll flies like
he is
fastest
crazy.
runner ever.
Fun,
Jake McCarthy
fun,
also
entertaining
flies.
baseball.
Yeah, I mean, and I think maybe that's kind of what that team is going to bring this year. Like they've got a few guys like they get like that. They're starting Dre Jameson on Wednesday, a guy who's got super
great name,
electric stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
I watched one Diamondbacks game this year. I couldn't believe how left-handed they were.
Yeah, this team might play fun baseball this year. I think they're going to be exciting to watch. I don't think they're going to win too many games. Like might get to 75 or something.
They're the National League Orioles.
Yeah, I think yes they are. And that's kind of all I have to say about it.
They're fun.
The last thing I was going to mention was I was going to say get Madison Bumgarner and Zach Davies out of the rotation, but it looks like
Bumgarner is still playing baseball is amazing.
Yeah, it looks like they are on the same page. Zach Davies is already on the IL. Bumgarner looked like shit. Dre Jameson is getting the start, and I think Brandon Pfaadt should be next.
Ooh,
yeah.
Pfaadt.
Moving on to the Dodgers, the new look Dodgers. They're being led by two guys who are
a different
team.
Are
young hitters that are a ton of fun. Well, led is an overstatement. James Outman has been crushing the ball.
Yeah.
I
wish he was a pitcher so bad. Oh my God.
With that
I
name.
really wish he was a pitcher.
Will Smith he's the best catcher in the NL at
Yes.
least. I'd say he's the best catcher in baseball, but
That's
Adley.
That's an interesting conversation because JT Realmuto can silence that talk real quick, but
He can't. I wouldn't say he could silence it, but he could.
He
he's
could
the
make
only,
it a debate.
He's the only one who even makes it a question.
Yes.
This year, at least so far, Will Smith has been the best, and I think that'll continue.
Although Sean Murphy looks pretty freaking good in Atlanta.
True.
We didn't mention that when we were talking about the Braves, but
Yeah, I think
he
that's
looks
his name
good.
for like a second.
He's not the best catcher in the league, but he looks
Trace
good.
Thompson had that 3 home run game. That was a lot of fun.
That's never going to
That
happen.
was really funny. Miguel Vargas just looks like the walk god, like he's the king of patience, which I love. Like that's my favorite thing to see in a player.
Coming in at a 533 on base.
Insane.
How fun is that?
Just insane.
This team also has the most homers on the bench that I've seen so far. They have 5 total, but 2 of them are Chris Taylor, 3 of them are Trace Thompson.
Sure.
So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah.
And from the pitching side, Julio Urias looks like he's set to have a career year.
Look, the Dodgers pitching is the same as it ever is. It's dominant.
Same as
They
it
have
ever
young
was.
guys, same as it ever was. They have guys who are old and dominant. They have guys who are young and dominant, and they've had guys who were dominant a couple of years ago who are still dominant. That's just what they do. They are the best pitching organization in the league, maybe other than the Yankees. Or maybe better than the Yankees.
Dustin May also has some of the most electric stuff in
It's amazing.
the league. Like he's got the sinker with 2 feet of movement coming in at 100 at the knees. Certainly a breakout pitcher that I think could be top 10 in Cy Young voting before too long.
Yep. Kershaw's still that guy. Syndergaard is having actually, he's the only guy who's not having a great year. But
yeah.
Syndergaard,
he looked pretty good with that location in the first start, and then all fell apart for him in the second. I don't think he is someone that has anything left.
Well, also, when you have a guy who is so reliant on his fastball, if their arm kind of starts going, that instantly means that they're not going to be, they have to, like CeCe had to completely switch his entire arsenal, when he realized he wasn't getting it done with his power stuff, so now he has to learn how to be a finesse pitcher and whatever.
2023, Noah Syndergaard is a reclamation project that if anybody could take on, it was the Dodgers, but I've got to say I am not feeling great about that experiment.
He is down to 21% fastballs, which is extremely low for him.
Yeah.
Going to change up a quarter of the time, which I don't know.
I don't have much of anything to say about the Giants. I don't particularly care about anything that's happening over there.
I actually kind of find them a little interesting.
Talk about it.
We got up close and personal with the Giants because we went to opening day. I actually went to all but one game of the Yankees-Giants opening series. They can hit. They can hit a lot better than I thought they were going to be able to. That lineup is a bit more powerful and a bit more consistent than I was expecting. Thairo Estrada is way, way better than I thought he was. That's on me, I guess, for not realizing that because he looks amazing. Every single time I looked up, he was on base. Jock Peterson is that guy is a stud. I mean, it really feels like he kind of goes under the radar, and especially after the World Series run that they went on, where his pearls were sent to the Hall of Fame with the Braves or whatever. People kind of forgot about him, and he disappeared, and he looks really good out in San Fran. He also had a great hot mic moment where he screamed "fuck" as loud as he could after just missing a changeup, which you like to see that. And then their pitching, Logan Webb is terrifyingly great. He was really fun to watch.
He had a fantastic opening day.
The rest of their rotation is not as great, although Anthony Desclafani was great so far. I know that. But not a lot.
We know who Anthony Desclafani is at this point. We know.
Last,
Driveline Mania doesn't look like he's doing much of anything.
Right. Their bullpen is good. That's the other thing I wanted to mention.
The Rogers twins.
Yes, after watching a couple games with literally all of their relievers coming in, they look really good. And Camilo Doval is scary. But
Camilo Doval's got insane stuff.
The Giants are pretty interesting. I kind of, I don't think they're going to do anything in this division. Like, they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they, I'll say if they do, I'll be surprised. But they have, enough there to be like kind of just an entertaining team that will win. Like, I don't know, I forget what I put their line at, but probably like 80-ish games, and then miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
maybe mid 70s, high 70s, somewhere around there.
You want to do the last team?
No, that's it for Mudville.
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
No, all right. Yes, Chris Bryant is the only thing that I know about the Rockies.
I'm
CJ
looking
Cron's
at their
off
page
to a hot
right.
start. That's it.
CJ Cron, he hit 2 home runs on opening day. He's the best hitter in their lineup in a walk. Chris Bryant isn't also very good.
Yeah,
They're saying things you already know. All you need to know about the Colorado Rockies is they gave their number 1 prospect Ezekiel Tovar the starting shortstop job out of camp.
Great. Yeah.
He has not walked once all season. He's striking
You love
out.
a walk.
Well, I'm just looking at I do, but I'm just looking at the numbers. He hasn't walked once all season. He strikes out 30% of the time.
He's a 188 on base.
His WRC plus is -4.
It's not as bad as Harold Castro's.
And he hasn't even stolen a
18.
base, I don't think.
No, he's not.
Tovar, he didn't play
30%
much last year. He got hurt. And then they brought him up at the very end of the season, which was strange.
Yeah.
And then they threw him right into this job this year.
The Rockies have 3 hitters that have a positive
you know what?
WAR.
I'm going to make a bold take. I think all of the people who say shit like, I could luck into a hit or I could score are fucking insane.
No,
all those people are
it's
genuine nonsense.
They're not insane. They're stupid.
They're stupid.
They're stupid.
That said,
Yes.
I think I could run an organization better than the Colorado Rockies.
You led me into that one. I honestly think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Nobody ever knows what this team is doing.
It's amazing. They have 3 guys with a WAR above 0.0.
Oh, God.
Think about that real quick. 3 guys on the roster above 0.0.
That just makes me want to cry.
Oh, dear God.
Well,
Yep. Anyway.
those are the first 10 games of baseball.
Yeah.
Hopefully Brody doesn't fall down another storm drain. We're able to come back at you later in the week as
Hopefully
opposed to
we
like
can.
however long this hiatus was.
In all honesty, there are no more birthdays that I know of coming up. We're all done. We've all aged up a year. We're good. So I think
Thanks for listening to Mudville,
Yeah,
a
it's
podcast
baseball.
about baseball and arguably cinema. I've been Nolan Ramos.
it will be more cinema in the near future.
Yeah.
However, in recent days, baseball has been back. So cinema's taken a back seat.
Not for me. I watched like 10 movies this weekend, which is like a
this is-
record. I
can't
went
keep
fucking
up.
crazy.
I can't fucking keep up. What do you think? Who has time for 10 movies? I don't know. How
I
you
did.
do it. Okay, that's fair.
Usually I don't, but I did this
Morgan's
time.
goal was 50 on the year.
Yeah, and I did 10 in a weekend.
Man,
Sorry, Mark.
yeah,
I
that's
one-upped
rough.
him on that one.
You really kind of did.
Yeah.
Put him in his place.
All right, well, that's it. Goodbye.
We'll see you next week.